Men in the Arena Army, we salute you, and guys, thank you for being a part of this study. You are in book number 3. This is the summit, and this is the final meeting of this book, Team Meeting 10, simply called Forged. Now, I want to compare something. If you were a person who was born in 1900, you were a part of the silent generation, a person born in 1900. Listen to what happened to this group of individuals, this generation. At 14 years old, World War I begins. When you're 18 years old, World War I ends with 15 to 22 million people around the globe dead. That same year, the Spanish flu pandemic hits, and an estimated 50 million people die by 1922. By the time you're 29, the Great Depression hits and the collapse of the New York Stock Exchange. By the time you're 33, the Nazis come to power. By the time you're 39, World War II begins. By the time you're 45, World War II ends with an estimated 60 million people dead. 6 million of those possibly were Jewish. At age 64, Vietnam begins, and at age 75, Vietnam ends. Can you imagine going through that in the course of a lifetime? And these were some of the strongest, we call this the greatest or the great generation. Now compare and contrast that to us living in America today. We are carrying emotional support pets onto airplanes. We have participation trophies. We live in the most litigated society this world has ever seen. We have helicopter moms and bulldozer dads, and I'm telling you, we are soft. We are soft because we have not been forged in the fires of affliction. You know, we live in a society that thinks comfort is king and pain is evil, and I would recommend and I suggest that suffering produces strong men and women for God. You know, in Isaiah 43 verse 10, we read, "Behold, I have forged you, but not as silver. I have tested you in the furnace of affliction." And so this concept of affliction, of suffering, of persecution is something that we shy away from instead of leaning into. You know, I have a good friend of mine who's always telling me, "Hey Jim, create a crisis. Create a crisis." Another saying I love is make decisions against yourself. Or how about this one? Sacrifice your life. The Apostle Paul said this in Galatians 2:20. He said, "I've been crucified with Christ. Therefore I no longer live, but Jesus Christ now lives in me. This life I live in the flesh, I live for the Son of God who loved me and gave himself up for me." So guys, we really need to lean into this concept of being forged in the fires of affliction and putting yourself in situations that will create a refinement, a suffering, if you will. Guys, we have to get this because our families and our communities and our churches are depending on us. Remember, when a man gets it, everyone wins. So get out of the anonymous bleachers, get into the fires of affliction, and become your best version. God bless and enjoy the study, guys.